Since 2003, this is The Sports Source, East Tennessee's #1 sports talk show.
Presented by Junk Be Gone, Phoenix Conversions.
With your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning. Welcome into the Sports Source. We're happy to have you with us here on Christmas week. Tennessee lost 34-13 to Texas A&M yesterday to bring the regular season to a 3-7 close, but that is not the story. If you're a Tennessee fan, you already know that. We'll discuss the permutations, the many directions this thing is going this morning. We'll try to catch you up to speed, and we will try and cover in 90 minutes, and it may not be possible, all of the possible angles of this story, the investigation, Pruitt's job security, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get into it. First segment of this program is brought to you by the Garza Law Firm, and the folks over there, Marcos and his team, want to wish all of you a very merry and safe Christmas this holiday season. All of our sponsors making it possible to have kind of a quicker show today by sending out their holiday messages to you. So Merry Christmas from the Garza Law Firm, right there, garzalaw.com. All right, let's welcome in today's panel. Josh Ward from WNML, also from WNML, Jimmy Himes, and right down there from The Athletic, David Ubben. All right, guys, let me run through what we know, and we'll see if you guys agree with what we know, and we'll see if you want to illuminate anything. But let's catch people up, first of all, by talking about, well, it seems here we go again. The Vols, as I mentioned, lost 34-13 to Texas A&M yesterday. They fell to 3-7 on the regular season. Pruitt was asked after the game if he would be back. His response, yeah, I think, absolutely. WKGN reported right at kickoff that Tennessee's compliance office and the NCAA are investigating Tennessee's football program. We were told, meaning me, that the investigation began in November. There are also reports out there that it began in December. We'll see what these guys think. Not that it makes a big difference. Obviously, it's been going on for a few weeks now. Compliance Office has interviewed players, coaches, recruits, and Tennessee Athletic Department officials. We know that. Brian Niedermeyer's name seems to be a point of interest in that. Sorry about the typo. It's my fault. But that's your inside linebackers coach who was a hot man on the recruiting trail a couple of years ago. He seems to be a point of interest in this thing. His name comes up a lot. All right, let's move to the next panel. Brian Maurer and Eric Gray were suspiciously held out of the Texas A&M game yesterday. Just for the record, Jeremy Pruitt, before the game on the Vol Network, told Bob Kessler, he was asked, is Maurer still too banged up to go? And he said, yes, he is, Bob. So take that for what it's worth. Pruitt suggesting he was hurt yesterday. After the game, Pruitt was asked about Eric Gray and why he was unavailable, and 3 times he danced around the question, said that he's never going to give information in terms of why someone's out with an injury or whatever. But the bottom line is, you were waiting for the cock to crow, because 3 times he denied knowing anything about Gray's unavailability. He was just unavailable. All right. ESPN reports that Gray is a focus of the investigation, according to their sources. They also report that Georgia signee Amarius Mims is a focus of the investigation. Tennessee was after Mims until he signed with Georgia this week. All right, next panel. No one has confirmed the initial report that the NCAA is already investigating UT. No one that I've seen. We'll see what these guys say. However, there are reports that do claim that the UT Compliance Office has alerted the SEC and the NCAA. I believe that's standard operating procedure. So that is what I think is going on. So the NCAA not investigating yet, in my opinion. Pruitt said he hadn't seen no article or anything like that. When he was asked about compliance work and the story that came out, he said that compliance work is typical in college athletics. And then he made his case for staying on by kind of praising his team and saying they believe in what we are doing and they understand that we are not that far away. Okay, I think that catches us up. We'll see if there was anything that Josh, Jimmy, and David here saw in that stands out to them as they have a different take on it. There's a completely falsehood in there. You got more information. Thoughts on that, first of all?
Well, in regard to the 2 players that you're referring to, Eric Gray and Brian Maurer, I can tell you that the decision on them not playing wasn't made till Saturday morning. So that would tell me it probably wasn't a COVID case, even though it was reported that it was COVID for both of them by somebody at UT and by TV station. So the one that was carrying the game. I don't think it was related to that. I think that Eric Gray was related to the NCAA violation. I'm not sure about Brian Maurer with his case, but I find it interesting that Pruitt said they only say unavailable, and they don't give you specifics, but he said Maurer was injured.
Right.
It
Okay.
just wasn't true. That they've only said unavailable.
Exactly.
That's not accurate.
That's not accurate in regard to that. But I do think that because the players weren't notified until Saturday morning, that I don't think that was a COVID issue which had been reported.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people, inside the program at this point are sort of wondering, why now? What's the purpose of this investigation? And certainly within Jeremy Pruitt's contract, of which he signed a new one to start the season, not $12.8 million buyout, he can be fired for cause if they have enough level 1, level 2, or a bunch of level 3 violations that escalate to level 2 in terms of the NCAA. Now, is this investigation going to have enough to reach that standard? I think it's way too early to suggest whether it can or cannot. Mm-hmm. But certainly, it applies some pressure. And if there's a renegotiation that's going to happen, or Pruitt saying, you know what, let's talk, or you do find cause, that's one thing. Yeah. But at this point, there's a lot of folks who believe that that's sort of the aim of this investigation, is to get out of the Pruitt situation and do so with a lower price tag.
One thing that I didn't mention in that run-through is that there have also been reports that this ties back to impermissible benefits, that Tennessee has been giving things to current players on the roster. That would be a biggie. That would more than likely be one of those level 1, level 2. Well, that'd be a level 1 violation. That would probably meet the standard. Even if Pruitt isn't doing it, it says in his contract that if people beneath him are doing it, he can be held responsible. The thing about that, okay, cool, you just fire him with cause. You don't have to pay him anything. It's not that simple. If you go ahead and claim that, and you can see around the country when schools have tried to use that, they usually get sued by the coach. Even if the coach is caught red-handed, they will try and take it to court. At the very least, though, if there is something found here, it should allow Tennessee, if they can't get out from under this thing completely, it should allow them to, at the very least, negotiate this down and cut down on that buyout. Now, you've still got $6 million to assistants, which, depending on the language in their contract and depending on their involvement in any kind of hanky-panky going on, you still may be on the hook for $6 million, but $6 million is not as bad as $18 million, if you will. The interesting thing, it seems that Tennessee is rushing this thing. If you're thinking, well, the NCAA takes forever, they do. I mean, it can take months, it can take years for the NCAA to do this. If UT is looking to have a fast track to get rid of Pruitt and say, with cause, they would have to rush things. It sounds like they're rushing things. Thoughts on that? Do we believe, let me ask you this one, do we believe at this point that UT is actively trying to fire Pruitt with cause, or do we believe this is simply bad timing? That this report's out here, he could still survive it?
Well, I think they'd like to know if they could fire him for cause. I think that's sort of, it feels a bit like a fishing expedition in some ways, because the things that they're investigating are certainly for things that are illegal, but I think if you did a similar investigation from compliance from top down at just about everywhere in the SEC, you could probably find something. The question is sort of the motivation for finding that, especially an internal investigation. And, whether you can or can't, I think Tennessee would like to know if it can.
I think it's bad timing, because if you were really to take that tack, why didn't you do it with Derek Dooley? So if that's your idea, well, we're going to get out of this thing, so let's just let's start an investigation. Let's get rid of the coach. We don't have to pay him. Well, you've had several coaches you had to fire, right? So I think it's a bad timing. Now, I agree with David. I think they are trying to expedite it to try to find out where they stand with this thing. But I think what happened was somebody turned it in and said, hey, this stuff is going on. I think that's what prompted the investigation. Therefore, that's why I think it's bad timing.
Well, I think, too, they didn't fire those coaches in the middle of a pandemic. If you're the guy waiting to write that 7-figure check to say we got to get rid of this guy, and somebody can say, hey, give us a few weeks to look, and maybe you can save $3 or $4 million, I'd be willing to wait and say, okay, yeah, let's see what you got.
Yeah, isn't part of the issue, who are we talking about? Because isn't it believable that there are people either behind the scenes or connected to UT that are trying to get information out and trying to expedite this conversation to negatively affect
Somebody
Jeremy
got
Pruitt?
that story out yesterday, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So to me that comes back to where's the leadership of the athletic department, and where's the continuity and the culture that we've heard so much about that has been building over the last 3 years? We're back to where we were 3 years ago with the conversation around Tennessee's football program and athletic department. It's just another chapter in this conversation of people making fun of Tennessee.
No, that's impossible. Everything was fixed with the revolution.
Oh,
don't you remember?
Excuse me.
Fixed everything.
I take it all back.
Yeah, but Jimmy, there seem to be, I don't know about what you're hearing, but myself, it seems like there are two different stories. One is that Fulmer wants to keep him, and Fulmer's going to keep him. The other is that there's this other faction that is not Fulmer, and they want him gone. Where are you on what Philip Fulmer wants at this point?
I think Philip Fulmer wants to keep him. That's in talking with people in and around him. And Fulmer does not want to make this move, I don't think. If the move is made, I think it's going to be because they pretty much have to, and it would be a decision made over his head, either by the administration or by some key boosters. But I do believe strongly that Philip Fulmer wants to keep Jeremy Pruitt. Now, of course, he could change his mind if they find 58 violations, okay? But as of this point, I think Fulmer wants to keep Pruitt.
Yeah, it seems like Jeremy Pruitt's list of allies at this moment is thinning by the day, but Fulmer seems to be the one. And, maybe that's Fulmer has a belief in him. Maybe it's because Fulmer's, reputation and his time as Tennessee's AD is tied to hiring him and Jeremy Pruitt's success. But reality is that, Fulmer is still in his corner, but that list of people in that corner, people seem to be socially distancing from that corner day by day.
That's right. Everybody's putting on their mask and getting away. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk there's this belief that, okay, we've reached the end, Pruitt's doomed, there's no turning around. And trust me, there are people over there saying that right now, that the rumor's out there that it's 99% done, that it's 100% done. Is it? Is it really? Is there any way back for Jeremy Pruitt at this point? We'll bring in another couple of panel members. We'll get their take on this whole thing. We've got a lot of angles to cover on this in the next 90 minutes. Stick with us here on the Sports Source.